今から目指そうか。君ならなれるよ。僕が
So that's all she wrote for Reincarnated Aristocrat. All 12 episodes are done. The season is complete, and this may be the only season that we ever get, sadly. Let me go ahead and start off with the positives, okay? The positives are, I think that the ending of this show was very tastefully done. It's always weird to see anime that you know based on the source clearly doesn't or didn't end. How are they going to handle their 12 episode run, and how are they going to complete the last 12 episodes if they didn't cram all the source into those 12 episodes? And I do think that with Marielle saying like, hey, Ars, why don't you become emperor, and that leading him into looking forward and be like, I want to create a world with no war, and I'm being summoned by the Lord once again, and I maybe I can be emperor one day, kind of looking at all his retainers. I think that was a very tasteful end to the show, and I'm pretty satisfied with the end that we got there based on everything that went on. So I'm cool with that. Other positives, I like how Leisha and R's relationship grew a little bit more. I like how Roselle grew a little bit more as a character, realizing what he has to do as a strategist, realizing that basically his job is to be the strategist and to stay alive when it comes to being that strategist. I like how Charlotte grew by reinforcing kind of how she is already. I think this episode showed that Reitz grew. Reitz is realizing that he still has a lot of room to grow, even though he's, top of the food chain. And then Marielle, I think this was a really good opportunity for her not only to establish herself in this domain, but it also gave her a little bit of, maybe is humility the word, but essentially she realized that there are others out there who can match and surpass her. But thankfully, those folks are on her side now, and she has solidified herself here as somebody who sees as great of potential in ours as the person that originally saw potential in her. So I really like all of that as well too, and I think those are probably the positives of the episode. The negatives are this didn't feel like the last episode of a show. I think that this having, I understand. Okay, let me just say this. I understand that you don't want to move another big pull, or you don't want to move another event forward, because if you do, then what do you do when you're coming to the finish line and you just opened up a new can of beer, right? Like you gotta chug it, I guess. I don't know. So I understand why this happened this way, but I'm much thinking about the process of the show and how we got here. I much rather have had them reduce and squeeze to get us to a better ending point than what we got. Because this episode, it was a training episode. There was some, like a mock battle that went on, and this established Marielle as a character. All of that's fine, but I'm not satisfied with this ending at all. And much like a lot of other anime out there, Reincarnated Aristocrat is another show with high potential, but the product that they put out was pretty mid. I would say 6.5, probably 6 to 7 out of a 10 product. And 7, I think, is being a little gracious. I think on the enjoyment, entertainment scale, some episodes were highly entertaining and enjoyable, but others just simply weren't. But just on a critical scale, there's a lot wrong with the show. Pacing, not really sure what it's doing with the storyline. Ours as a character development. There's a lot wrong with this show. So I think about a 6.5 out of 10 is probably where I would fall with this show overall, considering that there was maybe an episode or two that were like an 8 or a 9, and considering there was some episodes that were like, 5 out of 10. I would say 6.5 out of 10 seems pretty spot on for like, it's right there. But potential-wise, this had potential for a 9 out of 10 show. Really cool premise, really cool story, really cool story, how do you say it? Really cool story that could have been realized. Really, again, high story potential, high character potential, just simply not met. And Again, and thinking about last episode, thinking about this episode, thinking about the things that were going on, there's so much more that I wanted to see that just didn't get fulfilled. And I think, there is disappointment there. So overall, Aristocrat was a good show. It was a okay to good show. And I think this is an easily bingeable show. I think that's where I would, if somebody were going to say, hey, Dom, what do you think about, should I watch this show? I'd be like, yeah, watch it all at once, because having to wait each week and then seeing how the show ended, I wouldn't recommend, somebody to not binge it. Just, binge it all in one go. And if it has a dub, which I don't know if this show got a dub or not. I think maybe it did. It did not. I would say if this show gets a dub, this is one that would say, hey, just wait a few months. Maybe let's see a year if it gets a dub, and then watch it there, because it'll be more palatable if you were to watch it at that point. But yeah, so, that's kind of my thoughts on this show. I think, the end of the episode was fine. The end of the show was fine. I think about a 6.5 out of 10 is probably where I fall. I don't know if there's any season 2 coming. We'll take a quick look before I let you guys go. Let's just see if there's a season 2. Maybe that has been announced somewhere. Season 2, let's see. It looks like there was. So it looks like there was a season 2. So maybe, we'll see on how this ends up coming out. It looks like Reincarnated Aristocrat. Oh, it looks like it will return in fall of 2024. So it looks like we just have to wait the summertime, and then we're going to have the fall. So it looks like it was announced on the 23rd. Oh, it looks like it was announced this morning. So, of course, that's why I don't know it yet. And it looks like it shows us the future of Ars and Leisha. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know if I'll be back for season 2. I think that this show, well, again, it was very okay. And depending what comes, unless nothing comes out in the fall, I don't think I'll be back with you guys for season 2. This show just wasn't good enough to have me dedicate 12 more weeks of content to. But I will say, for anybody who is going to come back for season 2, I think that they left a lot to be desired. So maybe season 2 will make up for some of the things you want to see. I mean, for Charlotte alone, if you just want to be a character stan, I think that's a good enough reason to come back. But for me, I'm going to say it's probably the last time you'll see any Aristocrat content, at least this specific Aristocrat content on my channel. I'm glad it's coming back for a season 2. That's really good stuff. But yeah, you won't see me in the fall. But I'm really happy that they did announce a season 2, and there is one coming. So anyways, overall, pretty mid to okay, mid to good show. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I'm always interested to see you guys on how you think of the finale to the show. But thank you guys for being with me for the last, 3 months here, 2-3 months as we watch this show together. Interested to see your final thoughts. For me, I'll just say that this show had high potential, just didn't quite meet that. And it didn't quite do enough for me to come back for another season. But I think that, Charlotte is chef's kiss. All right. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. Have a great month. Enjoy this show more in the fall. Peace out.